been a minute. Loki forgot I was doing these. I'll try to get back to him, maybe. So, my yap session. I don't know. What would I like to talk about? Well, I guess the first is an update of just how I'm doing. I'm doing alright. I don't know, what is this weird Half-Line glitter going on? I don't know, whatever. I'm doing okay. It's been going cool. Work's been fine. I should be getting more hours soon, which is always nice. Going right now, take my car to the shop, get it fixed. Apparently there's like a CV axle busted or something. I don't know. Holy, I've put a lot of money into this car. I've probably put in like what I originally paid to get it, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Personal life is doing alright. The meds I've been taking have really started. They've helped a lot with some of the issues I was having. I'm not quite where I'd like to be, but they're working, so that really is something, you know. And yeah, and part of that too is almost frustrating. It's not quite, because it's better than it was before, but like I am writing more before than I used to, and I'm doing more of this like video type stuff than I used to, but not enough to actually like that I would consider myself doing it, if that makes sense, which just sort of sucks. But you know, maybe one day. Sorry, 1 second. I'm getting cold here, and then rip it. That's kind of it. As far as like the media stuff I've been doing recently, since we last talked, it's been a minute. I've played Lego Batman, the Legacy of the Dark Knight fully. Very mixed opinions about it. That's like that is the thing currently right now that's furthest along to be making an actual article / video that I'm making. Will I actually do it? I don't know. We'll see. I still need to finish Dying Light 2. I'm really close. I just gotta kind of sit down and do it one day. Get cold, car. That really is sort of it. I kind of started watching that Welcome the Dairy TV show. I saw the first episode when it came out, like, you know, when it originally came out, and then I waited for all of it to come out, and then I kind of forgot about it until like last week, and I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to watch that. So I don't know, I'm like halfway through episode 2. I started watching it while at work one day, so that's going. I think I watched my first anime in a while. I really, really like the manga, and so I do think I'm gonna end up watching that story of Wand and Sword. Come on, speed up, big dog. Because I like I said, I really like the manga, and the anime looks like really, like, at minimum, competently done. And I think it'd be enjoyable for me to get a kind of a refresher on what happened in the manga by watching it, because I haven't read it pretty much since where the, I think, second season of the anime sort of tapers off. So I do plan on doing that. And then after I finish Lego Batman and then Dying Light, I think I'm gonna go through and I think I'm gonna play all the Legend of Zelda games. They're the only real game series that I've never played like a single entry in. They look good. They all look good. Pretty much all of them look interesting to me in some techie trucks who don't understand what a cruise control is. Anyway, the ones I'm most excited for, really, and I know this is kind of a silly answer, but I think I'm really excited for the, I'm gonna butcher the name. It's like the Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, like that, those two. And then I'm really excited for Phantom Hourglass, and then oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. It's the tracks one, the train one, Spirit Tracks. Which I know, like, I don't think are people's first instincts when they think of Zelda games, but those ones have always looked like interesting to me. Especially Spirit Tracks, which is really funny because I feel like no one talks about Spirit Tracks. The one I'm least excited to play, I think, is Twilight Princess. I just do not like the aesthetic of that game. And at least with like Skyward Sword, which kind of has a similar aesthetic, one, I like it better, and two, my controller has these cool gyro features where like I can't actually use it like you would a Wii remote, but I can use gyro, which means that like the game will 100% have a different play style because I'll do it like that, which I think is kind of neat. Yeah, I was contemplating because there's a few options. I don't know whether to do that or because it was either Zelda, well, funny enough, all Nintendo, like Zelda, Metroid, and Fire Emblem. And I was also thinking about Monster Hunter, but I decided to go to Zelda mainly because, you know, it's kind of the big dog of all those. The E3 stuff happened. I call it E3. I really gotta kill the name. They're dead to me. Summer Games Fest. And it was good. I thought it was really good. I mean, we're getting not just more games on average every year, but just more like the quality of the average game is better now than ever before. Sorry, it's very hot. Ugh. So, yeah, I don't know, because like, I'm a really big fan of Outlast. The actual game is kind of whatever. I'm just a big fan of what they tried to do, and like, a lot of what makes the game fun, like in its funnest moments, I think are a really good template for good horror games. And get it twisted. I don't think Outlast was like the first one to do that sort of thing. This sort of like enemy stalker in the area where you have to sort of like literally just hide around them or you get killed. Like, they're not the first to do it. That was just my first experience with it. But if you look at the average quality of a horror game, like that came out this year or is coming out next year in 2027, and like just compare it to Outlast, holy shit, it blows it out of the water. And, like, it's not like Outlast was like a huge team in the first place, like, you know what I mean? But it's kind of crazy. And I'm sure like they definitely got some like money from somewhere, but the real like holy shit, that's wild was that it was shown in the, I think, actual Summer Games Fest. So was that Ill? Or maybe it was shown, I think it was shown in the PlayStation. Sorry, it was shown in the PlayStation State of Play. It's that Ill game. Absolutely insane. Like it looks like a, I don't know about indistinguishable, but it looks like a modern Resident Evil game, which is super impressive for what I could tell, a game studio with no prior game credits. Like, I don't know. I just think it's really cool. The dinosaur game was like that. There's like a horror dinosaur game that I thought was Jurassic Park, was not Jurassic Park. I'm blanking on what that was called. But hello, spoilers, but it seems that things just kind of work. And that's incredible. And there can always be issues with like certain mechanics. Like we're getting to the point where games now are kind of succeeding or failing, not quite on technical limitations, but just purely on like conceptual limitations. Like, was this level well designed by a person? Was this game mechanic fun and engaging by a person? Which is really cool. I mean, that's a great space to be in, because now, like, people can just make good games that they enjoy, and as long as they got that sauce inside their heart, like, the games will be good. There's a lot of older games where you're like, they kind of got the sauce, but, like, the graphics or, like, the bugs and glitches in this form, like, really bog it down. And then they don't really get a second shot at it, which sucks. And they're kind of like, that's slowly not becoming a thing anymore. I couldn't play on this one because I just wanted to sort of like just rant about a whole bunch of online stuff, but I'll be honest, I hit play and like literally all the hate in my heart just kind of ran away. I don't know. There's a lot of online internet things that are just sort of annoying me at the moment. It's just how the way the internet is. But what I'm starting to dislike is that people who I think normally I find myself agreeing with, I think are starting to get kind of captured by this sort of like they're getting sort of captured by this sort of like social media brain poisoning, which really sucks. Like the one that the primary example I was thinking of, right? Okay, so Flats, former Overwatch YouTuber, mainly Marvel Rivals streamer. I guess he's a streamer either way. I think more than a YouTuber. Recently, like, had a clip kind of go viral, going like, see, and maybe I'm part of the problem here. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even watch it, but that's because I didn't really care about the specifics. The general gist was just saying that DBD has sort of a toxic fan base. That's it. It's not some crazy nuanced statement or anything like that. And not that he was saying, they were all evil devil trials or something like that. But just that DBD is a bit of a toxic fan base problem, or player base problem. And if I had to guess from mainly the replies and also what I know as a DBD player, mainly talking about in-game toxicity versus like necessarily like people on Twitter or something like that. But, and this isn't Flats' fault. I don't give a fuck about Flats. But he obviously started facing backlash from it. And this happens every fucking time someone is like, wow, fans of blank game are kind of toxic or something like that, where they immediately get backlash, ranging from guys who just go, LOL, who cares, to guys going, maybe so, but Overwatch and Marvel Rivals have equally, if not more, toxic fan bases, to people then like responding like, kill yourself, fat fuck, and it's like, okay, awesome, cool, whatever. That's like normal response when you do this. And then you also have a lot of people who are in DBD and go, not really, or like guys going like, maybe so, but like we can do better or something like that. But it doesn't matter, because then like every fucking response from people who aren't a part of DBD is like, LOL, guess they're proving him right. Oh, proven right again. Wow. And some form of that. Or it's like, yeah, a guy going, yeah, I had no idea about any of this, but looking at their response, I guess they are toxic. And then oh, still not as toxic as League of Legends players though. And it's like, holy shit, all of you kill yourselves. It's so annoying because it happens every time to every game, and it doesn't matter what. And it is mind-numbing shit. Like, I feel like I'm going crazy. It just loops repeatedly. We've had instances in the past of people going like, oh, every person who plays Minecraft is either a literal child or a pedophile. And then they'll, like, a bunch of responses will be like, no, I just like playing with blocks. And they'll be like, playing with blocks, pretty childlike behavior. Guess you're proving them right. And it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous. And then this is Flats' fault, because instead of like any self-reflection ever, as a guy who's been a part of like, oh my god, Overwatch and Marvel Rivals have both had so many times where some dumbass, big ass Twitch streamer has been like, dude, Overwatch is such a toxic fan base, dude. I don't know how people play that game, dude. And then of course, like, Flats as commented on it, been like, yeah, sure, there are some toxic parts of the fan base, but overall, I think a lot of people in Overwatch are really just like nice people trying their best to win game. And like, all of a sudden, that flies out the fucking window for every other game, which is always hilarious. Like, I don't know, man. But then like this, so making the initial statements are already stupid. Whatever. But then, of course, that plays into it, where like he starts like tweeting again, like retweets of like, it was like not him, but like first person POV with a shotgun. The Horde is coming, or something like that, because he's getting fucking backlash. And then all the comments are filled like, yeah, they're like beating your ass, but you're right, and da 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 da. And it's like, oh my god, man. Like, literally nothing better to do. I hate these people. Because, like, if it was the one-off instance, like, again, who the hell cares? Like, it doesn't matter. But the problem is that these people can't go a month without doing some dog shit ass, like, my game fan base better than your game fan base shit. And then I am forced to see it all the time. And it is so annoying. And all the people who engage with it on both sides are so annoyed, and I'm so tired of seeing it, man. I don't know. It's crazy. Like, DBD has some issues, right? Like, the nature of DBD lends itself to, like, sort of quote-unquote toxic behavior. I do truly think that DBD is a terrible match chat system. There's, like, no option to actually turn it off, which is fucking asinine. And their censorship is one of the worst censorships I've ever seen. Like, the DBD has had some problems censoring before, where you could literally type some verb of like, man, I hope you die, like, KYS, you're terrible. And that will go through, but you'll be in the endgame chat and you'll be like, oh, GG killer. Like, I almost got away, like, but you played well, and like, all of that will be censored for some reason. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll just go fuck myself. Like, it's truly bad in that sense. And that's truly the worst part for me. If you got rid of that, it'd be kind of a who the hell cares. Like, I think the sort of form of in-game toxicity of like the teabagging and the flashlight spam and the killer downing you and humping you or smacking you on the hook are such whatever. I think if you're someone who's getting like actually tilted and upset due to that, you gotta take a break or something, man. I don't know. And I understand, like, again, the nature of DBD, it happens more often than other games, right? In other shooters, like, you might get teabagged once out of every, like, 5 games, maybe, and that's, like, highballing. And oftentimes they get punished for it, right? Like, a guy in Siege teabagging, knife in your body who immediately gets, like, shot in the back or something, you know? Like, I get it. DBD, it happens more often. There's kind of less stakes in that sort of regard, and, like, there's more opportunities for it to happen, which is fine. But I don't know. It's whatever. Same group of people that think like League is like an inherently toxic thing, and like to some extent it is. I mean, I turned off like League game chat. I got tired of it. But you know, whatever. It's fine. I've ever found are like kind of truly toxic are like it's pretty much only Rust, and that's it really. That really is it. But not that again everyone on Rust is like evil or something like that, but holy shit, man. A lot of people on that game, like, it's the nature of like when you play Rust, you kind of want proximity chat on. Like it is one of the few games where you truly, I feel, lose something if you don't have it on. The problem with having it on though is that like the average Rust player is like 35 years old and is like on incel forums scrolling shit, and now you have to interact with these people, and it's not always bad, but like the odds of it being bad are much higher than like it would be. But even then, I barely think the game is like that toxic. Like that's like the worst example, but I think it's like still like fairly playable. And you know, there are some other exceptions to this where like I clearly am not. I do not present much as a minority online, so that's kind of a lie. I tend to, of my own volition, I tend to type like pretty, not what actually is like feminine, but like pretty stereotypically feminine. We're like, I don't know, someone would be like, good luck, have fun, and I'll type back like good luck, like you too, hun, and then like heart emoji, you know what I mean? That sort of thing, which has gotten me flamed for being like a girl before, which I always find amusing, but I understand that that's not a part of me. I don't know, it's kind of complicated, but in the sense that normally I do not present myself very much as a minority online, so I don't really have to deal with like the worst of the worst. Like I do know that like women in FPS shooters oftentimes like have problems where they can't even get on mic chat on lobbies that otherwise like I would be fine in. Something about girls in games or whatnot, like they just hear a woman start speaking and their brain fucking chips out. They start freaking out, going fucking, ooh, a woman spotted. I'm gonna have to say like go back to the kitchen or something like that, and that fucking sucks. In like same way, like some people can tell when you have like like more of a black accent or whatnot, and then you start getting racist, or if you talk in a way that's like kind of stereotypically like homosexual or whatnot, you'll start getting slurs thrown at you, and that stuff sucks. That stuff needs addressed. And I'm sure there are games that are worse for that than others. Like see, Valorant's a pretty famous one, but I think Valorant, if you were to look on average, probably has a fairly tolerant one, just due to the sheer amount of women who play that game. Like, I have a feeling like if you were a woman playing Siege, you on average probably get harassed a lot higher, which sucks, but that's just kind of the nature of the, again, not so much like the game being toxic, but a bit of the people who are drawn to that sort of game, which I guess is inherent to the game, but not always the case. I don't know. It's rough. Hello, guy on mic. Yeah, I guess like to a more broader point, I guess I am just tired of the general, like, oh, man, these group of people are, like, derogatory in some form. Some sort of, not really critique, more like insult or something like that, directed at a group of people. And the group can be as broad as, like, Americans or fans of the, like, 1980s remake of Psycho. And then they will face backlash from people who are like, who feel insulted by the insulting thing they say, and they'll go like, I guess you proved me right. Like, there's this constant weird subsect of people who always want the person they're shitting on to always be taking the high road, but it doesn't matter, because like, one, if even there's one guy who responds negatively, you know, that gets painted as the whole group. But outside of that too, like even if no one responded negatively, they would still just like say the same shit. It's not like it matters. There's this weird lack of like, and part of it is because like, this is especially on Twitter, but a lot of things are like this, where like, especially on Twitter, there's a really bad bot problem where it's really hard to tell who's like a real person or not, or who's like paid or not and stuff. There's a whole bunch of issues with that, especially when you get closer to the political sphere. But there are like even like the game, like kind of like the fucking dying ashes of Gamergate, culture war, stupid shit. But there's this weird mix of like, people sort of understand that everyone on the other side of the screen they're talking to is a person that they're typing to, but at the same time, the person they're typing to is just like one of the horde, right? It makes it hard. I notice this too with like things like stream chat sometimes. The streamers will like, they simultaneously treat individual people as if they are like individuals with, you know, their own lived lives and experiences responding to something they said, and at other times see them as like a part of the fucking swarm, and start attributing things to the individual that the swarm be doing. And it's kind of also fucked up in that way. I don't know. It's a hard line to fucking toe. I'm getting real upset at a lot of these like art, quote unquote art conversations surrounding gaming, where it's I don't know, man. I just, and maybe I'm in the wrong here. I feel like I have such a fundamentally different view of what art is than others, where like, for me, art is supposed to be a way where the artist is trying to communicate something to the consumer of said art, viewer of said art, experiencer of said art, however you wish to say it. But I don't know, and that gets kind of muddled sometimes because we have profit structures, and so oftentimes I would argue that an artist kind of caps themselves due to the profit structure, where they don't do something that they would normally do that would help them communicate because they think it doesn't bring them money, or vice versa, that they say stuff they normally wouldn't do because they think it brings them money, which I'm not saying it is bad on the artist side. You know, it is what it is. It kind of sucks when we have the system set up that way, but I think it's harder than people often give it credit for to truly get to that sort of thing. Anyway, but there's so many, I don't know. Like I said, it's like we said earlier, when I hit play, all the anger just kind of left my heart. But even just thinking about the conversation, it just tires me out, man. Like, okay, so the big thing recently has been this whole media literacy thing, and why it's good, and why, like, how certain behaviors are actually examples of bad media literacy, da-da-da-da-da. And almost all of them are fucking just stupid. I'm so serious. There's this weird... I swear to God, for a lot of people, what media literacy is like, could you watch the thing and then write a Wikipedia article about the thing? And that's what media literacy is. And whether or not you can do that is like good or bad. Like media literacy starts and ends with that, or like maybe like if you can form a headcanon about it, you are media literate. And there's like nothing in there about like fuck you, semi. And there's little in there about like media literacy being like, can you understand what the author is trying to convey or tell to you? And then like, do you think he succeeds or fails, and what is to that? it's difficult because like the definition I find a lot of people use sort of handicap themselves of like looking at very shallow parts of stuff, and then like whether or not you're media literate is if you can like, I think it's enough to be like, yes, author wanted to write a story about depression, and if you got that, you're done. Like if you understand that he was writing a story about grief, you're good. You're done. Like you are media literate or whatnot. And there's very little, like, I feel exploration of what is he saying about grief, and like, is it a good like does he support his like what he's saying about grief? Does he not support it? Is what he's saying about grief, is it even true? Is it a good thing? Like there's so little about that, man. I swear, like and it's hard, and it's like, and just because something is not well done, or maybe you don't feel the support, doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad. Like that's kind of a different thing too, where I feel like a lot of times good or bad is sort of just shortcutted of, did you find this thing entertaining? I noticed this with Cyberpunk, for example, and not every story in Cyberpunk's like this, but like there's these cases of, I'm not going to use Cyberpunk as an example because I'm going to say I'm not too familiar enough, but like there's a lot of stories where something is going on that's allegories to addiction, right? They're doing normally like power stories where like someone is taking more and more power to and a lot of the base level theme of it is like power is addicting, without a lot of exploration, in my opinion, on often like why power is addicting. And that's kind of it, really. Like so little of those kind of stories that I feel are exploring why people find power addicting, and how like power is like the only way for, and this seems like a no duh sort of thing, but people who are relatively powerless, not in control of their lives, to have some sort of agency, right? I feel like that aspect of it is very often like not explored. And so often then there are times where a creator does attempt to convey why they think power is addicting or whatnot, and it's like, and sometimes I don't agree, right? Sometimes like sometimes their statement is that power is addicting, not necessarily because it's a tool to like regain agency, but that that like just the dominance of others is like enjoyable or something like that, and that's something that I don't generally agree with. I do not think that is the main reason why power is addicting, but I can respect them attempting to tackle it or whatnot. And then if the show or whatever is entertaining on top of that, like it's great or whatnot. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I necessarily think the author was like successful or like even correct, and that might be a flaw I have with it, right? Like a character might be kind of flat to me because I think like the author sort of has the premise of what he's like describing is sort of wrong, and I don't know, and it's really complicated. I think that you can have a lot of discussions about it, which I think are the really great parts about art and whatnot, and like media specifically, but people just don't get to that point. There's this weird notion that like you have to sort of agree with the author's concept, like you have to give like that conceit or whatnot, and then like in order to judge it or whatnot, you have to be kind of on the author's terms of like what they're trying to convey. And I just don't know, I just don't agree with that. And then like again, and it's hard because there's a lot of people who like don't engage at all, and those people are media illiterate, and I understand that, but it gets pushed to people who do understand it and just disagree with the premise, and then some of those people are also media illiterate, and I don't know, it drives me crazy. Recently there's a post that sort of conveyed these two things, where there was a person who had a video, and I think it was about the back rooms, and it was a complaint about how like a lot of people went into the back rooms like thinking it was going to be a bunch of like wiki lore stuff, right? It was going to explain the back rooms, and you were going to see a whole bunch of more modern conceptions of like monsters that appear in the back rooms, and a bunch of stuff that's sort of been added over the years into like backrooms canon. It was going to be like tape recorders and the tape recorder monster and that sort of deal, like the clown world where you have to like collect tokens to get out or whatnot, and people thought it was going to be that, and so they got to the movie and it wasn't that, and they immediately were turned off and didn't even try to engage in the movie. They immediately just wrote it off as bad and just like went on with their day, and the video was largely about those kind of people and how they are an issue generally when it comes to art, and they are, because like they are media illiterate. They are forming their own headcanons about what they want stuff to be or what they want the artist to be saying, and then when they don't say that, they think it's bad, and that's a problem. I need to get over it. Whatever. Say, and this is kind of like the negative to the creator, they had a pretty like incendiary like thumbnail title or whatnot. Like the title of it was like Backrooms in Media Literacy, which again, like media literacy is kind of a volatile term. The thumbnail had like a big sentence saying like "you are the problem," and then it had someone like OC in the backrooms, and it was very like Tumblr coded. Like the OC was a kind of a stereotypical like nerdy girl failure type of character, and the colors are only what I could describe as like Tumblr colors of like these very like kind of pastel pinks and purples in kind of pastel puke green and stuff, and so someone tweeted, and I think this person is stupid and also bad, but they tweeted, "Yeah, I'm not watching this," with the picture of that thumbnail and the title and the image. And I think it's dumb to tweet it, because like who the hell cares, but at the same time, what is Twitter if not the who the hell cares website? But, and I'll say it, it's a pretty unappealing thumbnail title like channel creator combo, right? Like I would have skipped the video if not for this. If it showed up in my thing, like it looked obnoxious, which is fine, right? What I think a lot of people don't understand about don't judge a book by its cover is essentially that like there's a lot of things with really bad covers that put you off, but if you give it a chance, it might be good. But what's important there is that might. I feel like oftentimes, especially if you read and watch more, see, it's also one of those things where like don't judge a book by its cover is almost one of those like old school ass wives' tale things you tell to children to like eat their vegetables, right? I find that once you like really actually start reading and watching a lot, you kind of can start judging a book by its cover, and I'd say 9 out of 10 times you kind of hit that shit. I digress, but anyway, so if you notice what I summarized her video to be about,
versus what that guy did. They actually aren't the same thing. He didn't go into something with his preconceived notions, and then once like it wasn't that, he stopped engaging with it and said it was bad. No. He hit an earlier like tack eject button where he didn't even he thought the whole like to be analogous, he thought the whole idea of the backrooms was stupid. Like he thought he just didn't like the idea of a horror movie based off like an internet cult thing, and then tweeted that he didn't want to watch a movie about this, which is different than what her video was like. But holy shit, there were so many people being like, man, person who tweeted this, you're doing what she said in the video. You're media illiterate. You're the problem. You're not engaging with it. And I want all these people to die. Metaphorically, I don't know. Not like I want them to kill themselves, but like, you know, they could like trip and fall and bonk their head or something. Like, more, I guess, actually, like, I want these people to get offline. I never want to hear them again. I think they're obnoxious, man, because they're just wrong. But they're so smug about it that it's hard to even engage with it properly. I don't know, man. Because, like, what he was doing was not the point of the girl's video. I think it was a girl. I apologize if I'm assuming. It was not the point of their video. It had nothing to do with their video, like the point of their video. And furthermore, I think it is bad that there's this expectation that the only way you can, because it's not like he was critiquing the message of the video. You know what I mean? It's not like he was like, like this person's premise was bad or something like that. No, he was making an aesthetic judgment. Very different, right? And I don't know. I just think it's kind of fucked up that there's so many people who can just, like, with their chest be like, yeah, you're doing the thing in the video that they probably also didn't watch, and like they're just okay with it. I don't know. It drives me crazy. I hate all these people, man. They're not using words properly. Like, words have no meaning at all. They can't actually engage in like normal, proper ways with other people. It's just bad, man. Anyway, thank you for listening to the rant. I'm at my location, so I'm gonna be heading out. So I don't know. Let me know if you agree or disagree, I guess, and I'll have a cordial conversation in the comments below for sure. See ya.